Hello everyone, welcome to my grammar classroom. Thank you very much for being here. We like to talk about language barriers, okay? So this barrier is something that is invisible, but it is there, and it blocks people from achieving their goals. So what is a language barrier? And today I would like to tell you that I found one of many of the language barriers. I found the first barrier that stops Chinese students from learning English. Let me share that with you. So to start with, I would like to share with you a simile. Many Chinese students like to collect English words. They like to learn English new words, and believing that if they collect enough numbers of English words, then they will be able to master English language, which is comparable to collecting a lot of building blocks, a lot of bricks, believing that if you have enough bricks, you will be able to build a house of a sort, right? So that is how bricks and building work. So guided by this belief, they will collect a lot of words, and then they believe when they put the words together, they'll be able to master English. For example, if he learns the word student, then another word study, and by putting these two words together, student, study, he will believe that he has learned English. And everybody knows that is not true. English is not a pile up of words. It is an intricate engineering of parts of speech. That sounds like very complicated, right? In fact, it is. So this is what English feels like. It's made of parts, that's right, except it's made of parts that work together, okay, like a machine. So collecting words is like collecting parts of a machine and trying to put it together like this. This doesn't look like a machine. It's not going to work as a machine, right? It's just a collection of gears, collection of parts of a machine. So to make sense with the two words this Chinese student has learned, the student must pass at least 3 mazes successfully before he is able to speak English. The first maze, maze 1, okay? So by learning words, the first thing if you want to speak in English, if you want to make an English sentence, the first thing you need to know is if it's a noun, you have to know whether it's countable or non-countable. If it's countable, you have to know whether it's singular or plural. And if you know that it's singular, then you know that the spelling of these words are different, and there are a lot of detailed rules guarding that, okay? Guiding that. And so it is very important. So suppose that the student learned, finally, he wants to talk about one student. He decides that the subject, the topic of his sentence is going to be a student. That is only the beginning of the sentence. Then he has to go on to the second maze, maze number 2. That is, he has to be able to find out what his verb is, in this case, study. Then he has to tell the 12 different tenses. These are the basic tenses of the verb study. And to make the 12 tenses, there is a lot of engineering involved, all right? So if you're interested, we are going to have another show, and I'm just going to teach people how to fill this form out, okay? Meaning how to construct the 12 tenses with a verb, with any one verb, okay? So now that we have the 12 tenses, okay, made up of the 2 basic words that student has just learned, student, study, but putting them 2 together is not a sentence. You have to decide that your subject is singular, so you have 12 different sentences, okay? And all 12 sentences are made basically of the noun student and of the verb study, but they tell time and they also tell different aspects. So therefore, this is the engineering, the plan, the intelligence behind the sentence and behind the words. Next, if the student happens to choose a plural noun, instead of a student, he decides, no, I'm going to talk about more than one student. And then he's going to make another 12 different sentences, with some being the same as singular, but there are variations. All right. And so the student has to know the variation between singular noun and plural noun subjects, and the tenses, the verbs behave differently too. That is the second barrier. All right. Now, the third barrier, maze 3, okay, it is the 6 functions of a sentence. So for any one sentence, okay, it is possible that it is a statement, affirmative. It could be a negative statement. It could be a question, yes, no question, but there's affirmative, negative differences too. And then it could be a specific question, all right, and that question can be affirmative and negative too. So altogether, there are 6 different possibilities for any one sentence. So notice here, I made the past simple tense of the sentence, a student studied, okay? And I changed it into statement, negative statement, okay? Yes, no question, affirmative, yes, no question, negative, and WH question affirmative, WH question negative, all right? So therefore, each one of the 12 sentences, okay, could have 6 other variations. So if you do not know these variations, and of course, you do not know English words, English sentence making. Anybody who's interested in knowing all these, you could come to my following presentations. To conclude, learning English is to learn how to build a clock with intricate parts, not just collecting words. Collecting words means you are on this side of the language barrier. You do not know anything about the barrier yet, okay? Once you went through all these barriers, right? You are able to count your nouns, time your verbs, and you are able to express the 6 functions, okay, to allow your sentence to serve the 6 functions of an English sentence. And so this is one barrier, another barrier, next barrier, forming a little river of a sort, forming a huge barrier. Once you swim across this river, then you are learning English. Otherwise, you haven't started your journey yet. Just like a traveler faced with so many different ways, okay, possible ways, choices, not knowing where to start. So the first barrier of a Chinese student learning English is this. Now you can see it right in front of you. If you're interested in crossing this first barrier, you're welcome to come to my school to learn. Thank you very much for your time, and that's it for today.